No.
Remember when you guys had that truck
We did
or
that with my
trailer?
cousins or my
Video
house,
games
and my
truck?
cousin, she's like 20 now.
That was the only time we get to play Call of Duty.
That was a long time ago,
He
Shane.
had a rotten egg one, and now 4 years ago.
Is she
got
still
together
getting
that
out?
one guy.
I like that
Hey,
stuff.
Said no.
so really what we've been doing at this point, we talked significantly about oxidation numbers, correct?
Right.
Okay, what's the oxidation number, Shane, of germanium?
Germanium, it's
Four.
plus 4.
4,
Can I say it?
4,
Can I say it?
-4.
yes.
Oh, what?
That's not
Wait,
fair.
that says,
That's
it
just
says
all
4
plus
plus.
4.
It says 4 plus, it does not have 4 minus. Explain.
Oh, but it's 4, so we can do either one.
Three.
I'm saying,
If you really want me to explain, I'd have to take about 3 days to explain. There's a reason why I'm essentially telling you something that's not completely 100% true.
Well, what?
Yeah, no,
I do that a lot. You'll find
out.
out that a lot of stuff that you learned was true, but there's always exceptions to certain things when you, yeah.
English.
Like, I hate to break it to you, but when you take college level chemistry, there's really, like, the octet rule is really not that big of a thing.
Oh.
But I teach it to you now like it's the greatest thing since sliced cheese.
You liar.
Sliced cheese was not one of the greatest things ever.
It's not sliced cheese. Sliced cheese is bad.
bread.
It's a bad
Are you
thing.
kidding me? Sliced cheese is way better than sliced bread.
It is
Sliced
one
bread was invented
molecule
in
away from
Iowa
being
anyway.
plastic.
Okay. Stevie, oxidation number of neon. Everett, oxidation number of lithium. Sid, oxidation number of calcium.
+2.
Carly, oxidation number of boron. 5.
Okay.
+3. Mari, oxidation number of chlorine.
Chlorine. I know this one. This is -7. Oh, -7. So whatever. Yeah.
Wow.
What? I'm looking at the wrong one then. What?
Chlorine is a Cl.
None.
This.
So -7.
What?
It's the other way around.
I said -7, -7.
No.
It's not 7.
That's how many bands left on tonight.
Oh! Man, I just had like a brain explosion.
Yeah, right.
What is it?
Love
It's
it.
-1.
Yeah.
No way.
Alright, Ethan, phosphorus.
I saw it. I know this one.
It is 3 minus. You thought right. Okay, one more. Rose, could you tell me oxygen up there? Oh,
Oxide.
you can't see it. -2. Okay.
Alright, what are you doing?
I'm too close to the front.
So, hey,
See this happen.
another thing that I want to review here is remember these things, they're called subscripts, and what do they tell you?
Opposite thing.
Well, not the directly, that's true indirectly, but how many what? How many atoms you have in this particular formula unit. So, how many atoms do you have for oxygen in that particular formula unit? 3. And how many iron atoms do you have in that particular? Okay. All right. Read this carefully. Don't yell it out loud. Take some time to look at it. Then I'll call or raise your hand if you think you know. I feel like this should be pretty no-brainer since we just talked about it.
This is over.
It's no-brainer. Jared? Subscript.
I'm in. Oh no.
Flip the page.
Or empirical evidence.
Undisputable.
So are these called like clementines?
I have no
Yeah.
idea, I just know that.
Yeah.
They do significantly taste different than an orange.
What?
What about cuties or halos?
I
I just say they smoke.
More sweet, less sour.
What's the different names?
Oh no, do you need them in bed?
It was not what I expected.
Got it.
I was expecting to taste like an orange.
Disappointing.
I don't know, I'm disappointed, but just unexpected. Oh, you peed on me.
That's what fruits do.
Well, now you have orange juice.
If I squished it, I could pee it all over even.
Do it.
See it?
Not
Say it.
what?
That's what you call an overactive bladder.
What? That's when you have to pee every 10 seconds. That's a good life.
How do you know this?
It's kind of the wording, overactive bladder.
Maybe it's overreactive. Like it's just anytime there's a joke that someone tells, it just like overreacts.
Or it's over retracted.
Don't forget about them bladder commercials. You have an overactive bladder. Pee.
Hey.
Okay, alright, hey, back on track, sorry, I got you off track. That's totally my fault, 100% my fault, please forgive me, now get back on track. Thank you.
So if his birthday wasn't tomorrow, would you still forgive him?
Yeah.
I
said yeah.
You're good.
What?
What's the game up here called?
What?
Clank.
Yeah.
What?
Board game.
Of what?
I'm a game.
You want one of my
Ratchet and Clank. That's amazing.
Not like a video game.
No, you're like the best.
I know,
video
check
gamer.
me one.
You like candy, you like board games, you like science, like.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
That's what I said, it's the best way to do it, good.
I mean, it like
Um,
your touch.
What?
Chemicals for the place that get. What are
I'm sorry, I'm like a one-track mind, like I should just go get stuff now, but
Get what stuff?
we can't.
What
Alright,
are you talking about?
ready? So it gives only the ratio of atoms. Doesn't that sound like something we already have done? Amen, brother.
Good job, baby.
So,
Yeah.
you don't have to re-put this in. It's that a compound breaks up into,
Molecule.
be more specific, okay? Well, within the definition of a formula unit, it's always the simplest ratio, right? Really? Simplest. But it isn't always the simplest ratio for molecules. So you could say, anytime I have a formula unit, it's in its empirical formula, right? Right? Every formula unit is in its empirical formula. Okay? Molecules are not always in their empirical formula. Let me show you an example. There are some that are, but some that aren't. That is a molecule. Is it in its simplest ratio? So this would be the formula, chemical formula of this. Its empirical formula would be what?
C2H1.
Would be CH2.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Right? Here's why we don't do simplest ratio for covalent, because this is an actual chemical formula, and actually this is a different chemical formula. So we can't write, take everything and reduce it for covalent, because by their nature they can be different formulas. But for ionic, remember, they don't exist as distinct molecules, do they? Ionic compounds exist in this huge structure of repetitive ions. Okay? So just be very careful. Formula unit is always in empirical form. Molecules can be, but they aren't always. For example, water. That is technically in its what form? Yeah, it's in its empirical form, but it is also its normal form. Okay? That's all I probably need to say about that, because it says may be the same as the actual chemical formula. That's what this is. Chemical formula, empirical formula, same. Here, is the chemical formula and the empirical formula going to be the same? No. The chemical formula is that, the empirical formula is CH2. Okay? Don't put this in. Okay, it says, how do we know that the formula for table salt is that, and the formula for magnesium chloride is MgCl2? Okay, we'll talk about why this is, and it has to do with oxidation numbers, and it has to do with electrons. Hence, yeah, put this in. Yeah, why not? Another thing you could ask your dad is if those phones have the ability to set up a hotspot. The reason why is because we might get rid of our internet because my brother's going with like the most unlimited plan where you get like a ton of like hotspot gigs. And we might just get rid of our internet to save more money. So that's a question that you should ask. What? Oh, okay. So, so this says you can predict a formula based on its valence electrons. Well, that makes sense, right? Because when we were doing ionic compounds and we had a calcium, we did the dot notations, right? The two valence electrons told us we had to get rid of the two valence electrons. And so therefore, if I bonded calcium with chlorine, because this had two and this only needed one, we had to have a second chlorine. So do you see how valence electrons are going to tell us kind of what formula gets formed in these particular situations? Here is the new stuff. Worksheet today. Yep. Okay. What? Well, that was the end of yesterday's lesson. Now we're on to today's lesson.
I would have said politically yes, because I didn't really
Okay. You don't have to answer the bell ringer just simply because I kind of asked you all the questions about oxidation numbers a little bit ago.
Why is one of your sleeves up?
I don't know. I've had multiple people be bothered by that. I don't know if I had this one up and it fell down, or I like this arm's cold, this one's not.
Did you run on your pants too?
What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm just a mess.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a mess every day. Yeah. All right, Jordan.
Un momento, por favor.
It's a worksheet.
Yeah, I need to read it.
Can somebody help?
I didn't write it down because I was
Wow.
looking at your pants.
It's just a
It's a
Wow.
worksheet.
Did
No.
Jack tell you what I made him do the other day?
What did you make Jack do?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
What do you mean you saw it?
Somebody videoed it.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, was it a good video or like the whole thing?
It was like just like the end where where you told him to put his right hand up, and then like he said what he was sorry for.
Oh yeah. So this is what happened. Yes, we probably have enough time.
Can you go back to the reading part?
What about the first one? This is way much more interesting.
Okay, so I must have walked this way, and then I was walking back, and as I walked by Jack, something I don't know what it was, but I turned like just like this, and as I turned, He like pretended to spank me.
What?
Yeah, he
Or
said
what?
he was like poking you with a pencil.
He was trying to poke me with a pencil. Well, it looked like he was trying to spank me. Is what it looked like. Okay, so I made him stand up, come to me, and put his right arm up, and I made him say, you know, my name is Jack Seiler. I deserve a demerit. And he repeated it. And he was like, my name is Jack Seiler. And then finally at the end, I was like, my name is Jack Seiler, and I enjoy to. And I had him fill in the rest. And I was like, I enjoy to what, Jack? And he wouldn't tell for the longest time. And then he finally said, I don't remember what he actually said, like touching your butt or something like that.
Did you keep it?
And no, I didn't. But it was funny because he was really embarrassed. it was funnier if you were there.
Do we have to write this down?
Yes, all of this.
No.
This is pretty much the extent of the notes other than doing this stuff. So,
Crisscross,
Who's not even
sauce,
recording?
Wait, I have to do this specially.
what does bi mean?
Two.
Two. So when we're writing binary ionic compounds, we're writing ionic compounds that have two different elements.
I crisscrossed the word crisscross. Cross? No, it says crisscross. But it kind of looks like.
Cirque? Sark?
No.
Where?
Science Center, of course.
I've been there once.
I've actually never been to the science center.
Ouch!
Oh, you heard.
Are you okay?
Ooh, if I was back in college and still had my Achilles tendonitis, I would be crying right now.
What is
You don't have to
tendonitis?
Something wrong with the back of his foot.
So I hit the back of my heel. So when I had Achilles tendonitis in college, if I even like touched the back of my heel, I would like be in pain. Yeah. That to this day is the worst athletic injury I've ever had. And I've dislocated my ankle.
I fractured my foot.
I've done quite a bit of things. I dropped a 65-pound dumbbell on my finger in between another dumbbell.
It makes me cringe.
It's like I was doing like incline bench or something, and I didn't realize there were dumbbells on the ground, so I like dropped them and caught my tip of my finger in between one dumbbell and the other dumbbell. 65 pounds of force coming down with gravity. I missed 2 basketball games in college because of it, because I couldn't catch a basketball because my tip of my finger hurt so bad that I had to miss 2 games of basketball because of a stupid dumbbell. Idiots.
That dumbbell.
Ah, that's funny.
Wait,
Well,
what's the
I
X supposed to be?
I know. I missed the whole season because of
I
Achilles
cannot
tendonitis.
spell today.
What is the EX?
Ugh.
What is what?
I literally spelled dad wrong.
Example.
Oh, there's
I know.
I'm about to show you some examples.
I can't. Look at this. Like, look how messy this is. I spelled right wrong 2 times in a row, and I can't. I spelled
You
dad.
spelled what?
You spelled
Right.
it
I
left.
went to spell right, and I just WH.
Oh, you didn't do R-I-G-H-T.
Oh, that's not even right.
That isn't correct.
It could be right.
In health, I spelled dad's just dart.
Dart.
I added an R for some reason.
How do you spell
I can
dart?
do that.
Dart. D-A-R-T.
There was not even any connection between what I was trying to get her to say.
Wait, let me try this one. Spell the word silk.
S-I-L-K.
With a cow string.
Milk.
No.
Hey, water! Ah, you did! You did!
Yes.
What? As I was saying it, I was like, no, hold that back. Don't say it. Don't say it. And it was out.
What?
Spell the word. Okay, wait. What is it? No. It's like. I don't know.
What is
Yeah,
S?
spell the word silk.
S-I-L-K.
And with a cow string.
They drink water, Everett.
Well, don't make it water.
Okay, yeah, when somebody did that to me, I
Yeah,
actually
same
did think
with
how to
the
drink.
They drink water.
This is some cold eating.
Alright. Spell slow.
S-L-O-W.
What do you do at a stop sign?
Stop. Oh yeah, what are you doing? I'm gonna
No,
pass
it-
my. I'm gonna
That's
pass
not
my.
that one. There's
Yeah.
actually a better way to do it, I just can't remember.
Yeah, it's
like
not
pop.
slow, it's like,
It's like mop. That's what I was trying to do with Everett. I was like, what?
I don't remember.
Oh,
what
spell M-O, spell mop. And then you say what do you do in green line.
I thought it was shot.
I don't know if that's it, but it's something to do with what do you do in a green line. You say stop.
Then you said smoke shop.
What if the green light is into the red light? Oh, look,
Okay,
I'm
you
changing.
Hey, you guys got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So what we're going to do, this is the calculator version of math facts in your head. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is last chapter, we showed how ionic things bond, and we gave electrons, and we showed them taking electrons, and then we were able to figure out how many atoms you needed of each by doing that, right? Okay, well, isn't that what a chemical formula tells us? Doesn't a chemical formula tell us how many atoms of each you have? Okay, so we're going to write chemical formulas quickly instead of writing chemical formulas by showing the whole process. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Okay, I'm going to write the chemical formula of sodium and oxygen. I'm going to do it the slow way. Okay, sodium, I'll look at the periodic table, 1 valence electron, plus oxygen, I'd look at the periodic table, 6 valence electrons, and I was like, okay, I gave 1 here, but looks like I need to have another sodium, okay, and I can finish the whole process and come to the realization that really I have 2 sodiums for every 1 oxygen. This would be the chemical formula, right? Okay? Now it's not going to be as quick right away because this is going to be new, but once you get the familiarity of this, this will be actually quite easy. Okay? It says to write the cation first, then the anion. That just means the symbol of your cation and your anion. Now normally it would be in word form. So for example, this would be called sodium oxide. And I'll explain why it's not oxygen and it's oxide. I'll explain that when we get into naming it. Okay? But when you're writing the formula from the name, the cation's always first and the anion's always second. Remind me what a cation is.
Cation is a positive charge.
Positively charged ion. Well, when we're doing ionic compounds, it's always the metal, right?
Yes.
And the anion's always the non-metal, correct? Okay? So I would look at this and I would write the cation first, which is sodium, what's the symbol for sodium? Na. So this is where remembering your element names is very important. Okay? Oxide is just what? Okay? Then it says write the oxidation numbers above each. Okay, what's sodium's oxidation number?
1.
1 plus. Okay? What is oxygen's oxidation number?
2 minus.
Then it says crisscross down.
2.
So the answer is Na2O.
Oh!
That's special.
That is special. Now, notice what I didn't do. It says here, don't write the ones because this technically was 1 and I brought it down, but I didn't write it. Correct? Like in math, when you're doing typical things, you usually don't write 1x. You usually just write x, don't you? It's an assumed 1. Same thing here. Okay? Secondly, it also says to reduce them if you can. There are some that when you do it, you can reduce. Because remember, ionic compounds are in their simplest whole number ratio. Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm doing calcium sulfide, and sulfide is just what, do you think?
Sulfur.
Sulfur, okay? Alright, we would go ahead and we would write the cation first, and in the name the cation's always first. So what is the symbol for calcium? Okay, there we go. What is the symbol for sulfur?
S.
Sorry, he answered.
Yeah.
Okay? Shane, oxidation number of calcium, because that's next, right?
Yeah.
What is it?
2+.
Stevie? Sulfur? Now notice if I crisscross those down, it would be a 2 and a 2, right? You can reduce those 2's, so the correct,
Whoa.
and that would agree if I was doing the electron dot notation, right? Because I can give 2 and take 2. So do I need to have Ca2 and S2?
No.
Simple whole number ratio just means for every 1 calcium, I have 1 sulfur. Make sense? Okay. Last one example I'm going to show you, then I'll let you do a few. And then your homework. Okay, so this would be aluminum chloride.
Chlorine.
Well, again, we'll get into naming a little bit later. Okay? What do we do first?
We write the cation,
Which is?
aluminum.
Then we do?
The anion,
Which is?
chlorine.
Then we?
Find the
Oxidation
Oxidation numbers.
Al is 3.3+.
Chlorine is?
Chlorine is 1-.
And then we?
Crisscross down.
So the 3 here goes and becomes a subscript here. And here becomes a subscript here. Now notice I don't keep the charge.
Right.
That's your answer. You don't keep the charge. The charge just helps you identify that if I have a 3+ charge for aluminum, it had to give off 3 electrons, and if chlorine can only take 1 at a time, how many chlorines do I need? 3. Oops.
Whoa!
So I do want you to actually write all these out. And then I'm going to have you write the formulas. But before you write all of them out, stop so I can explain one thing. You probably are noticing this.
Right.
Okay? Those are Roman numerals. Do you guys know what Roman numerals are?
Yes.
What Roman numeral is that?
3, 4.
Okay. You're probably wondering, why does it have Roman numerals and these 2 random guys? Anyone have any idea?
Transition metals.
They're in the transition metal section. Remember, in the transition metal section, we don't know exactly how many valence electrons they have. Okay? So what these are tells you the oxidation number of your transition metal. So you would have iron 3+ and you would have copper 4+. And then you could solve this and figure out the formulas. Okay, so I want you to write all these names out and then write their formulas. And then that will be all for today. When you do that, I'll give you a worksheet.
Why is bromine not have the load? They're not. Never mind. Potassium nitrate.
The reason why I want you to actually write in the full name is so that if when you're reviewing it for a test or your final, you can see the whole process. What? Iodide is iodine. It's I, yep. questions? Yep. Barium's BA. But this is bromine. But so the rest of these oxidation numbers are when it bonds covalently, and that's for a completely different section. Just remember that it's in group 17, so it's going to lose one. Yeah. I mean, just remember, right? 3 minus, 2 minus, 1 minus, 0. All of these are 3 minus, all of these are 2 minus, all of these are 1 minus when they bond ionically. Yep. So technically it would be the first one for most of the cases, but here it's actually, we will never belong in. So, yep. Are we far enough through this that I can start writing some of the correct ones up here?
What's
Fluorine, F. Hey, there's a reason why I made you memorize those 30 or whatever elements.
Nitride? Nitrogen.
Yep.
Nitrogen. The very
Nitrogen. So you're finding that the IDE endings is just taking the ending of the second guy and adding an IDE and removing the ending that it had. Fluorine is fluoride. Chlorine is chloride. Iodine is iodide. Bromium is bromide. Sulfur is sulfide. Oxygen is oxide. Nitrogen is nitride. Phosphorus is phosphide. As is if it's the second element, but we'll get to the naming a different day. Look confused, Everett. Yep. BA what?
Just not 2.
Okay. Oxidation number of barium is 2 plus, 1 minus, crisscross down. See it now?
Yeah, I think I got it.
Barium is a 2 plus oxidation number. Why? It has 2 valence electrons, it's going to lose 2. Yes, what's the matter? Don't leave yet. I want to make sure I get all these for you. What? Okay, I'm going to write them all on the board here. If you get any of these wrong, you can stay and I can
I
explain
just
them.
have F. Yeah, it's a BR.
Oh, that would be wrong.
Yes, I got it. Woo.
Why did I put the 1?
Okay, I would technically have chlorate, but I put oxide and not iodide. So that changes everything.
B-A-O.
Yeah.
Okay? If you got anything wrong, stay for a second. I can explain any of these guys. Otherwise, you can leave. Oh, worksheet. Good call.
What was the?
Literally what it looked like. It was, what?
What was the tune that you played?
Are you ready for this?
Oh yeah.
Go for epic lamping!
Yeah, because I told my mom about it, and I told her about what you did, and she was like, oh yeah, there actually was a girl that did that. She just went up and bang. I was like, yeah.
I was like, I wish I saw that.
Oh man.
I mean, that was pretty aggressive, but. Ow! Really?
So you want to watch a compilation of a bunch
One of the
of
twins did?
Make me. I'll find them, make me. That's all the one that chick has a slingshot.